Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Kira, and for today's episode I was just talking with one of my good friends about singleness and what the purpose in singleness is. And if you want to catch that, you can click the link in my bio to go check that message out that I did with Kimmy. But I just wanted to get on here, and I realized I haven't talked about singleness, relationships in a long time. Like, guys, it's been months. And with that being said, I want to share more on it. It's something I am super passionate about, what God intends for your season of singleness. And so I will also link all my other videos talking about singleness, because there's a specific purpose for it. We're all born single, and there's so much that goes along with it. But one thing I was talking to Kim specifically about in our live stream today was the importance of your season of singleness and how that sets up your life. And we're also talking about like generational cycles and things that you see from generation to generation in your family that you don't want to do, that you want to break that cycle, that chain, whether it's alcoholism, drug abuse, whatever, that you're like, that's not going to be me. You know, broken relationships, like that stops right here with me. And the Bible talks about in Romans that we are made more than conquerors through Christ. That God doesn't just give us the ability to fight through these things, but to be more than a conqueror. And it makes me think about what that means exactly, that we do more than just go through and win, you know, the situation, conquer it, but that we're more than conquerors. And it makes me think of the Marvel movies with all the different superheroes and like how strong they are, and it's more than what is needed. And that's how God makes us, more than conquerors. But in talking about singleness and why it's so important, so backstory on me, if you're new to this channel, I am now married. Sorry, my hair is wacky. I got married almost 10 months ago, and I was single until I was 20 years old, almost 21. I started dating my now husband, baby, a month before I turned 21. So I was single for a long time, guys, and I wanted to date way before then. I really desperately wanted to date. I was like, Lord, I want to date now. Send me someone, because there were guys that liked me that I was like, no, I don't think, you know, you're the one that I'm meant to do life with. And I wanted to date intentionally, not just date to date. And there were guys I liked that didn't like me back. So I was like, Lord, I'm ready now. Like, I am a sophomore in college. I'm ready. And God's response to me humbled me a lot. He told me, he's like, Kira, I want you to start a YouTube series on singleness. And I was like, God, you've got to be kidding me. I don't want to do that whatsoever. I'm insecure about this part of my life, and then you want me to stick it on the internet for everybody else. And no. But I did it, and it taught me a lot through that process of just being refined by God in that season of wanting to date, but not having the right person come into my life at that time, and letting God show me that my identity needed to be fully in Christ and not in another person, or desire it to be in another person, because God makes you and I whole human beings. We are not halves looking for another half to complete us. No, Jesus completes you, not another person. I promise you, you will love your spouse, you'll love your fiance, you'll love your boyfriend or girlfriend, depending on if you're a guy or a girl watching this. But they will fail you. They are not perfect. They are not God. And what are you going to do when that happens? What are you going to do when they disappoint you? And that's why you need your foundation to be in Christ alone. And in Matthew, Jesus talks about a parable of a man who builds his house, his standing on a firm foundation, a rock, versus building it on the sand. And when the wind and the waves come of life, the house built on the sand crashes. But the one built on the rock stays firm. And with that, in having your foundation built on Christ alone, it's not just when you're single, it's when you're dating, it's when you're engaged, it's when you're married, that you keep sowing into that. But having that foundation before you ever hop in a relationship sets the tone that this person that I want to do life with is amazing, and they're going to draw me closer to God, but they are not God. They cannot completely complete me. They cannot fill me in the ways that only God can. That there is a yearning inside of us that is put there by God that only God can fill, and not another human being. And so in talking about singleness and the importance of that season, what you're doing in that season is you are setting the tone of your life. You are saying, this is who I am, this is what is important, this is what God's called me to do. And when that special someone comes into your life and you start dating, and then you're trying to figure out, hey, do we work well together? Do we push each other closer to God? Do we bring out the best in one another? You get mentors and trusted friends involved and say, hey, I'm in love. Help me to see straight. Is this a good idea? Are they adding value to me? And it doesn't mean that they complete you, but that they draw you closer to God and closer to where He's called you to be. That you are each following Jesus. You each have your own relationships with Jesus, but you're going closer to God together. Then you get married, and then you're married. And you have a strong marriage because you are not looking for that person to complete you, but rather that you are looking to just help that person in life, that you are both going hand in hand towards Jesus, the author and perfecter of your faiths, and going forward in what He's called you to do together, that you're there to help each other up, that you're there to encourage each other to keep pressing on in what God has laid out for your lives. And then, if you have kids someday, that foundation has already been set when you were married, but then way back when you're single, of my foundation, my rock is Jesus, and out of that relationship with God, I can have the fruits of the Spirit. I can be patient, I can be loving, I can be kind towards my kids, even when they drive me absolutely insane. And it doesn't mean that you're perfect, but that you have a solid foundation that stems all the way back to when it was just you and God. And then think about it, when your kids grow up, they have seen a godly marriage, they have seen two people deeply in love with each other, but even deeper in love with God. And that's the tone that was set. And I think about how many people I know who are in some way affected by how they were brought up, their childhood, that they go to counseling over, they say, I don't want to be that way. And what could happen if we change this standard of things, that if we change our perspective, if we change how we prepare for dating, being engaged, married, having kids someday, whatever God has called you to, that we change the standard of 50% of marriages ending in divorce. We change the standard that you're just going to have childhood trauma or something happen that, is not good and takes a while to get over. We're going to change that standard that has been set, because that's not how God has called us to live. That is not the standard God has set for us. And He has way more for us. And it starts off without starting this crazy cycle of going back to who is God to you and where is your foundation. Because I can promise you that in this life, there are going to be hardships. When Jesus talks about the man who built his house on the rock versus the man who built his house on the sand, the wind and the waves came at both houses. It doesn't matter if your foundation is in Jesus or in a job or in a person or in finances. The winds and the waves and the storms of life are going to come. But when they come, are you prepared in your foundation to withstand the pressures and the things that come at you? Are you able to still be standing afterwards because you put your foundation in Jesus Christ? And at any point in your stages of being single, dating, engaged, married, you continue to sow into that relationship with God. It's not that you just do that when you're single, but that you're laying a good foundation and groundwork for God is enough for me. And I can want to get married, but even if that never happens, that God is enough. And it doesn't say we don't have those longings anymore, but that there's something greater than those longings, and that is Jesus. And so I hope this is an encouragement. I hope that this just puts into perspective how much weight is in this season, how much you can set yourself up for in the time to come, that what you sow, you're gonna reap. And so how you prepare yourself for what's next in your life, whether that's getting married or not, whether that's a relationship or not, that however you prepare yourself now, you're gonna see the benefits or the not so benefit of later on in life. And so hope this is an encouragement. Please tell me down below if you want to see more of these videos. If you have any questions on singleness, dating, relationships, marriage, please ask me. I'm very, very passionate about this, as you can tell. And please feel free to subscribe if you want to see more videos, and then hit the little bell icon so that you'll be notified and you can stay up to date with me. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'll leave my handle down below so that we can be friends. But I love y'all so much. Have an amazing week. God bless.